In our panel, early here on Special Report, Charles Hurt, political columnist for The Washington Times, A.B. Stoddard, associate editor at Real Clear Politics, Julie Pace, White House correspondent for the Associated Press, and Guy Benson, political editor at townhall.com. Okay, I want to put up the Trump contract with America that he tried to roll out in Gettysburg. He did. First, a proposal to constitutional amendment to impose term limits. Second, a hiring freeze on all federal employees to reduce federal workforce through attrition, except military, public safety, and public health. Third, a requirement that every new federal regulation to existing regulations be eliminated, for everyone to be eliminated. Fourth, a 5-year ban on White House and congressional officials becoming lobbyists after leaving government service. Fifth, a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. Sixth, a complete ban on foreign lobbyists raising money for American elections. Okay, there's the Trump contract with America. Charlie, does that make a difference in these final closing weeks?
Well, I think it's a great. I think that's a great proposal, and I think that talks right to the very people that have been so enthusiastic. The problem is that it's a little bit late to be doing it, and it would have been good if he had done it before the debates, or at least before the last debate, because if for no other reason, it gives him something to focus on and talk about the issues. Because I know everybody likes to talk about what a nasty campaign this has been, and it's been interesting to say the least. But it's not entirely. It's not like it's not about issues. On the Trump side, the reason so many of those people love Donald Trump is because of the issues, and this contract goes to the heart of those issues that they like about him. He might be vulgar and all that kind of stuff, but there are issues that draw people to him.
Julie, supporters would say we buy in. They might not hear everything about this because the news focused on something else he said at that event in Gettysburg.
And by now, Trump should know that that's always going to be the case. If he, as the Republican nominee, if any presidential nominee goes out there and says something really inflammatory, in this case saying that he's going to sue all of these women that have come forward, that's going to be the news. And he knows that. So the idea that he can't put these grievances aside in order to ensure that what he's laying out, as Charlie says, that has a lot of resonance, both with Republicans and Democrats, frankly, that's his mistake, and I don't understand why at this point in the campaign he hasn't come to grips with that.
And he begins by importuning voters to cut through the clutter and the noise and focus on these important issues, and then he creates more clutter and noise during the speech, and of course the media covers it. It's the trap that he walks into knowingly, as Julie says. But I think Charlie's right. There's a lot of serious stuff elsewhere in the speech that is getting short shrift, and I just try to close my eyes and envision an alternate campaign where he gives this speech without the other nonsense in early September after Labor Day, and then relentlessly focuses on it when the women come out, when the tape comes out, rip off the Band-Aid and come back to these issues and these proposals. Hillary Clinton is still quite unpopular. We could be looking at a different race, but we're not.
Here's the campaign manager for Donald Trump's campaign and a former Democratic campaign manager.
The fact is that this race is not over. Many in the media want to say it's over. For the 12th time, they're counting Donald Trump out. We're not giving up. We know we can win this, and we are certainly not acceding to the same chattering class that's been wrong about Donald Trump for about a year and a half.
Donald Trump has become the issue in this campaign. He has made himself that. He has made himself the center of discussion, and that has overwhelmed every other issue. So even though she's going into this election with historically high liabilities, in comparison to Donald Trump, she's doing quite well.
David Axelrod obviously ran President Obama's campaign. A.B.
Well, Axelrod is right. Trump always makes himself the issue, and he doesn't step on his message. He pulverizes it. And the only time he ever did well and built the momentum and really had Clinton on her heels was right between August 13th, when it was in the doldrums and he had new management come in, and on September 26th, the first general election debate. And during those 5 weeks, he completely saved a tanking campaign. He was teleprompter Trump, always on message, always with his notes, really restrained from Twitter, and not talking about his anger grievances. He has a message. If he really cared about this issue, it would have been part of his message a year ago. But what he likes to do is bring it back to himself. That's why no one on that campaign, Kellyanne Conway, can go on all the shows she wants and talk about what they're going to try to do and keep it focused on the issue, and it's all the media's fault. But Donald Trump is destroying his campaign.
Let's take a look at some polls. First, our SR average. This is a poll of polls that we've compiled, and these are the latest polls that we trust. Big organizations: Quinnipiac, Fox News, Bloomberg, Monmouth, CBS, and it has Clinton up 5.6. Now, I get a lot of questions, a lot of emails about why these polls are not included. The LA Times tracking poll. It is a two-way race. It has Clinton at 44 and Trump at 44. The reason we don't put this in our list, several things, but first of all, it's an online panel, which means they interview the same voters over and over again. That has its own issues. But they also weight by past vote, and our people say that this is not something that we're going to follow, but there it is, the LA Times USC tracking poll. The second one is Rasmussen. It is a four-way race poll. It has Donald Trump up 2, margin of error 2.5. Rasmussen is a robo-poll, so we do not use it. It doesn't qualify because we use live interviewers, digital phones. It doesn't include landlines and cell phones. It's not live interviewers. That's why we don't use it, but there it is. And the third one is IBD, Investor Business Daily, and TIPP, four-way race. Trump 43, Clinton 41. Now, IBD does meet our standards, although it seems an outlier. We should point out that IBD, Charlie, was very close to the ending at 2012. It had a good record in 2008 as well, and it is a poll to watch. It meets our standards, but it is not matching any of the other polls that are out there.
Yeah, and it kind of won the sweepstakes, as you said, in 2012, in terms of being the closest at the end. And the big question here that has, I think, dogged a lot of smart pollsters is there an element out there of people who are lying to pollsters because Donald Trump is so hated, and they know what the right answer is, and it may not be Hillary Clinton, but it's definitely not Donald Trump. And is that going to be significant? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be significant enough. You know, the enthusiasm that I find from Trump supporters is they're pretty out and proud about it. Either way, you know, this has been the wildest election of my lifetime. And if he were to come back, it wouldn't be the strangest thing that happened in this campaign.
The campaign manager for Donald Trump, Kellyanne Conway, concedes that they're down. So I think that's reason enough to be suspicious of some of the numbers that have him slightly ahead. But of course she's going to say they've still got a shot. 15 days left. A lot can change. WikiLeaks is still up to their tricks. And Hillary Clinton remains a deeply distrusted, disliked woman.
Quickly, Julie, I do sense this angst in the Clinton folks that there's like almost too much optimism from their people, that they're running away with it.
The biggest problem for Hillary Clinton would be a low turnout election. She needs low propensity voters, young people who don't have a history of voting to show up for her. If people either feel unenthusiastic about her or feel like she has it in the bag and don't show up, that is potentially Trump's avenue.
Panel, thank you very much. Now.